Yo, what is good, YouTube? Krishan checking back in with another video. Let's start today's video off with some recent updates of the mutant Nick Walker. And Nick recently announced that he is headed back to Florida to get the job done. So I would assume that Nick is going to be prepping in person with Matt Jansen until this year's Olympia. And I think that's a great idea. Following Pittsburgh and New York, I was a little bit worried about Nick, but hearing what Derek said to him at the Olympia battle, also hearing Nick say he didn't really feel like himself prepping for New York until the last few weeks, my mindset has changed. I'm confident that Nick Walker will at least look better than he did at the New York Pro at this year's Mr. Olympia. And in the next update of the day, we have a recent update from former Mr. Olympia Brandon Curry, and it's actually a quad update. Prior to this update, in the back of my mind, I was thinking we're probably not going to see Brandon Curry or Big Ramy at this year's Olympia. But looking at this quad update, I'm pretty sure Brandon is going to be at this year's Olympia. And I'm not going to take a hard stance on is he going to do good, is he going to do bad. It's Brandon Curry. I would never count this guy out. And to be fair, at last year's Mr. Olympia, Brandon did get sick prior to the show. He probably shouldn't have even done the Mr. Olympia, but probably still wanted to do it for the fans. But let me know in the comment section below, what are you guys' thoughts on Brandon Curry and expectations for this year's Olympia? All we have is a quad update. And let's switch over to an update of Michal Krizo that recently surfaced. This update should be Krizo at 4 weeks out from the Impro Classic, so it is a little bit older. We haven't really seen many updates of Krizo, if any, outside of training updates ahead of this year's Impro. But despite the lack of updates, I'm pretty sure we all still have Krizo winning the show. Despite Behrooz and Bonac being in the lineup, Krizo is currently top 7 in the world and is an absolute freak. Now, this update does look like he's a little bit behind, but I'm personally not worried about Krizo's conditioning on stage. Now, speaking of the Impro Classic, we have another full physique update from Behrooz Tabani, who of course just looks better and better by the day. I'm not going to ask the question of if he can challenge Michal Krizo at this show. I think that comes down to how does Behrooz stack up size-wise. And looking at Krizo, looking at Behrooz, I think Krizo still has a lot more muscle density, but Behrooz has made a ton of improvements. He's going to bring the conditioning. He has a great back. I think Behrooz is going to make it hard on Krizo, but it's hard for me to say that Behrooz can beat Krizo if Krizo is at 100%. But let me know in the comment section below, what do you guys think? Now let's switch over to the latest update of Rubiel Mosquera Nextzilla. And I would personally say that Rubiel is the favorite ahead of this year's Dubai Pro, which is in about 6 weeks. I've heard a few people say 4 weeks, but Dubai is going to be at the end of July. But looking at this recent update of Rubiel post push day, he does look pretty good. And even the little bit of the quads that he showed looks like conditioning is great again at 6 weeks out. If nothing else, I think working out at Oxygen Gyms will have any bodybuilder hyper-focused on the upcoming competition. I'm looking forward to seeing what Rubiel is going to bring to the stage. Hopefully he qualifies for this year's Mr. Olympia. And let's switch over to a recent update of Andrea Presti. I believe Presti was supposed to compete in this year's Toronto Pro, but he ended up getting sick prior to the show and was unable to eat or drink for 5 days. Over that time period, Presti lost close to 30 pounds. So I'm pretty sure he's probably going to have to take the rest of this season off, focus on health for right now, and then in the off season, focus on adding some of that size back. But I really wanted to update you guys on Presti. I was looking forward to seeing him on that stage. And honestly, depending on what Presti showed up to Toronto, he probably would have been top 3. Now let's switch over to 212. We have a recent update from our current reigning Olympia champion, Keone Pearson. And Keone said enjoy the updates for now, because he will shut them down once he gets closer to the Mr. Olympia, just to bring a little bit more of this surprise effect. Looking at Keone this offseason, looking at him this prep, it looks like he is going to come into this year's Olympia improved. And these updates of Keone may get a little bit repetitive, but unless Keone comes in significantly off, I don't see him being beat. And he's coached by Patrick Tour. He won't be off. Now let's switch over to Kerrith Bajjo, who recently posted up an update. And Kerrith has been slowly but surely improving on this vacuum pose. Kerrith will be competing in just a few weeks at the Atlanta Pro, if I'm not mistaken. He did take second to Ole Krivy in New York. Personally, I think Kerrith was a little bit off at this show, maybe 95%, whereas Ole pretty much hit it on the head. But Kerrith is top 4 in the world. Not many guys that can beat him. He's going to qualify pretty soon. Now let's switch over to Classic Physique. We have a recent update from Stephane Matala and conditioning. he's definitely getting that Patrick Tour level of conditioning. And updates of Stephane can get a little bit repetitive because I'm pretty sure we all want to see him move up and not strip off muscle to make weight for Classic. But I have to say, despite stripping off muscle, this guy still has a very impressive physique. I think he can without a doubt qualify for the Mr. Olympia. I'm just worried about him being a top guy in the division. Now let's go ahead and wrap up today's video here with the archive of the day. You guys let me know in the comment section below, who is this legendary bodybuilder? And as always, I hope you guys did indeed enjoy this video. And just an announcement for the newer subscribers, the reason I don't post so often, I am a general manager full-time at a gym, and also I don't like to come on here and talk about 4 or 5 guys. If you click on a Go Fitness video, you can look forward to seeing at least 7 to 10 different bodybuilders. But make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'm Krishan from Go Fitness. That's it. I'm out.